Welcome to Boys Podcast, episode 52. I'm Robbie Ray.
I'm Josh.
And we are here with a very special show tonight. 52, it's not just a number.
No.
It's representative of a certain milestone for us.
An annual milestone.
Oh, you gave it away.
Damn it.
Yeah, we just hit our 1 year anniversary as a podcast, and it feels good, man. It just occurred to me.
What is that, the paper anniversary? What's the anniversary?
I think the first is paper.
So
yeah.
and tomorrow's 420, so we can just celebrate accordingly.
Yeah, we're going to get rid of a few papers, if you know what I mean. Wade, thank you guys so much for listening. And speaking of paper, go to boyspodcast.com. It's the hub of all things boys. Yeah. There's links to our Twitter, Instagram,
wait, speaking
Facebook.
of paper, that's, I guess, virtual paper.
Well, I'm getting back to the paper,
Okay,
man.
sorry.
Hey, hold your horses,
You'll get there. You'll get there.
So there's links to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and most importantly, there is a golden donate button.
There's where the paper comes in.
Where you can give us some paper.
Digital paper.
Any denomination you like. $1, $5, $10, $100. You feeling generous? It is tax time. I know you're getting a little kickback from Uncle Sam. Kick it the boys' way.
And then next year, you can check that off your list for donations. You get that tax write-off.
That's right. That's right. And we got a few plugs here before we get to our guest tonight. First and foremost, thank you, Anthem Brewing, anthembrewing.com.
Yes.
Keeping us well hydrated. Definitely
well hydrated. And it can keep you hydrated too, anthembrewing.com.
Good guys.
Beautiful tap. Tap. It's a brew room you can go to. Tap room. That's the word I'm looking for.
Beautiful tap room and a beautiful tap room manager, Mr. Ben Childers, always being really nice to us. Man. Keeping us.
Get you a growler.
Yes. And OKCcomedy.com. I would say one of our new partners. Dare I be so bold to say maybe a partner?
I would say a partner.
We got Spencer, Brad, and Cameron doing some really great stuff for us. And we got some upcoming shows here. May 11th, Nick Thune, and June 10th, Tig Notaro. You can get tickets at OKCcomedy.com. Doing God's work here in Oklahoma City.
And get tickets. You want to get them, because don't wait till the day of show.
Well, our last guest, we did Shane Moss, and that was pumping, man. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it was a good crowd.
Yeah, great.
It was a really good crowd. It was an interesting crowd, that's for sure. And if you listen to our last episode, you'll know why. And moving on, fatbison.com. Dads and grads right around the corner. Get your gift at fatbison.com. Makers of handmade, beautiful
wood signs.
Fantastic signs. Wood signs. They're wonderful.
They're great.
Wonderful. So let me ask you before we get started here, Josh. Got any thoughts, reflections on the last year together?
You know, I said this earlier today. It feels like the year just it doesn't feel like a year. I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like, going back and listening to old episodes, the old episode 1, first one, Zach Smith, great episode. We've kept the kind of a vibe we wanted to keep with the podcast, but it kind of evolved on its own. And that's how you know you're doing something well, when it naturally evolves and you don't try to push it back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're still boys. We still like talking about boy stuff, growing up, that kind of thing. But it's not so much. It goes where it goes, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I went back and revisited a few weeks ago. Just went through and just picked a few random spots to listen in the archive on boyspodcast.com. And what I like about it, and I don't mean this in any sort of bragging way, because we got a long way to go, but I felt like we've kept it consistent. We haven't missed a week.
That's one thing.
And even when I delete episodes, we haven't missed a week.
We have not. We'll get something to your fucking ears for sure.
And secondly, I feel like we're just naturally progressing as we should.
Definitely. It feels more comfortable. I mean, not that it wasn't comfortable in the beginning. It's starting to feel like a thing. Like, when you start a band, you start jamming with somebody. With a podcast, it's like you're playing shows every week. Instead of when you start a band, you get together, make sure everyone vibes and gels. Then you start booking shows and playing shows, and you make something and you put it out. With this, you just have to fucking dive in and do it.
You just sit down and talk, and hopefully I don't say anything stupid.
But you're gonna. You know?
Yeah, there's been some things going back and listening. I'm just going to be honest here. This is an anniversary. It's a time for honesty.
Sure.
I've went back and listened to some things, and I'm like, ooh, I hope that wasn't either taken wrong, or hope I didn't put the wrong inflection out there. We're all humans, Yeah. We only got one trip around this earth. I don't know what is the
around this pizza crust that's sitting on the back of a turtle and teeter-tottering.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I like my pizza like I like my earth.
Flat.
You know it, baby.
What other kind of pizza is there?
Thick. There's a calzone.
That's true.
That's kind of like two pizzas on top.
More of a domed kind of a...
Whoa. That's like
whole other theory.
Some Stephen King shit right there. Under the dome. Anyways, yeah, we'll get to our episode in just one moment. But questions, concerns, comments, boys@boyspodcast.com.
Yeah, email us, please.
Give us a review and a like and just engage yourself a little bit. You know, this is a labor of love for Josh and I. We really appreciate the listens. We really appreciate the kind words.
For sure.
You know, not to sound big-headed, but man, it's so cool to like talk to someone, run into somebody at the bar or, you know, at a record store, whatever, you know, all the cool things that I do.
Or a restaurant.
You know, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and just, you know, you hear good words and man, it just resonates so much with me. It feels so good.
Well, it makes you feel like like we're not just talking, we've said this before, like we're not just talking into microphones. Like when someone comes to you and like, man, I really enjoyed that last episode, or like, man, I listen to them every week. Like the live thing, the live show, something happened. We lost the recording. Had a lot of people be like, man, that fucking sucks. I wanted to hear that. They wasn't able to get to go. That kind of makes, I mean, it's sad because they don't get to listen to it, but there's people like, you know, they're listening to us. They like it.
And we really, really appreciate it. Seriously, from the bottom of my cold, tiny heart, I just really, did you hear the heart trying to come out of my throat just now? I'm possessed. Yeah, we really appreciate it, guys. And we'll get to our guests right now. So without further ado,
Chase.
You might have seen... I was going for the big intro.
And I totally fucked it up.
This is just like day one.
It is.
Well, I'm fucking up. You're fucking up. It's all good. You might have seen him on The Voice.
Yes.
You might have heard him with Chase Kerby and the Villains. You might have seen him at the 42nd Street candy store. Or anywhere in between. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Duncan Kerby. Thanks for coming by today, man.
Yeah.
Chase Duncan. Is
that your sway
Kerby.
in the morning thing?
There it is.
I know. I wish I had some like drops.
We're going to have you freestyle over a beat that Robbie made.
This is going to be terrible.
No.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Oh, man. Living the dream one day at a time.
Always.
So a new thing happened to me just to get started here tonight. Thanks for coming, by the way.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So last Thursday, I went down to a dealership and I bought myself a scooter. Gas scooter, 150cc.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And I've never had a street bike before.
That's got some get up and go on it.
It does, man. Even for my tits and belly, like it's great.
It tops out at 88 miles an hour.
It does.
It's a good little scooter.
So I've been thinking about getting one for a while and doing the research. Josh here has had one before. Have you had a scooter before?
I am the most uncoordinated person on the planet with 2 wheels under him. I need 4.
You know what it was? It was I thought maybe that you had one, but I remember in retrospect
had one. Yeah.
Okay, well, in retrospect, it was you.
It was an old roommate.
You told a story that you were driving your Mini with a cast, and it was really awkward.
Yeah.
And that sounded terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know why I misconstrued that as a scooter, but
I mean, a Mini Cooper's pretty much a scooter.
Yeah, it's like a scooter. It's a four-wheeled scooter.
it's a scooter and a half weight-wise.
You got to change the oil. You're just getting another hamster to run on the wheel.
Right.
It's a go-kart, you know.
That's all it is.
So I've been doing my research, making a real calculated decision, you know. I don't want to jump to any conclusions.
You absolutely don't want to.
I want to make the right purchase. I want to make the right investment. Went down to Maxie's Honda down the street here, and I looked around, just decided on one, couldn't live without it. Saw it, fell in love.
Yeah.
Beautiful little machine. And then the reality kicked in. Oh, shit, I got to tell my old man, who is like adamantly
Against
street bikes. We grew up racing dirt bikes, super fun.
You're like, Dad, people in Bangladesh do this all the time.
Yeah, that's all they do.
They stack on top of each other.
Yeah.
And
Like a circus, you know? And so I today
You
I
ever
was...
seen footage of Mumbai?
yeah.
Scooters everywhere.
Oh, my dad's seen plenty of footage of Mumbai. Hell, I used to live there. So I called him up today, and we were chatting about the rain, the weather, the usual dad stuff, you know. And
Ease into it.
And he was like, I could tell he was trying to kind of push me off the phone a little bit, which was cool because I was at work. And man, I started like getting real nervous. I was like, fuck, I gotta tell him, you know. Don't like to keep secrets from people. Don't like to keep secrets from anyone.
I'm going to remind our listeners, you're a 36-year-old man
who lives in fear of his father and his decisions. Yes. So we're talking, wrapping up, and I put my hand out in front of my face, and I was trembling because I was like, now's the time. Now's the time. Can't keep secrets.
Do it.
So I was like, hey, Dad, gotta tell you something. I bought a gas-powered scooter today. Oh, yeah, you really needed that, didn't you? I thought he was going to shit. I thought he was going to be so mad and flip out. And he really wasn't. Yeah, take it back, Right. Yeah. I'm like, Dad, the deed is done. The paperwork's signed. It's all mine. You can't
boss me around anymore,
yeah.
Dad.
It sounds to me more like you're just almost disappointed that you purchased one. Not that you have one, but you're really going to spend money on that?
Yeah, he goes, that's what you really need, don't you? And I was like, and I had to go through I had it all in my head. I was like, well, okay, Dad, listen, it's only a 125cc. It doesn't get on the highway. I'm just gonna putt around. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be a daredevil.
Save money on gas.
Yeah, all that good stuff. I'm not even gonna commute on it because I work in Edmond and I live in Bethany. So I was like, Dad, I just bought it to
It's a toy. It's something fun to whip around on.
And that's when I realized I got to that point in my life where I bought a
thing,
a midlife crisis thing.
It could be worse. It could have been a Miata.
Yeah.
Those are cool too.
Speaking of that,
today,
speaking of that,
bought a Miata with a scooter rack.
With a scooter rack on the back. It tips it on his back wheels. Put the scooter on. No, I was driving on the highway earlier today, and I saw an old man, probably 80 years old, no shirt, like a hot pink, kind of sailor's cap type thing, in a bright blue convertible Miata going down Hefner Parkway, and he had this giant. It looked like a Super Bowl ring, and he was just fist pumping and driving, and I was like, man.
That is awesome.
That dude's my hero.
Yeah, that dude does not give a shit. He left his shits
go
a long time ago.
Yeah, that dude doesn't even know what shit is anymore.
Did you happen to hear if he was listening to anything? Did you roll down your window?
I got a solid picture of it.
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah,
I believe you tweeted it, or maybe it was Instagram. I don't remember.
It was Twitter, and it said, "Looking for a role model? You're welcome."
But there's something to be said for that.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
Well, Chase, you're a good-looking guy, well put together.
Thanks.
And I mean that charming smile. I'm getting a little hot over here.
I'm here to sell you a car.
Yeah. Have you thought about getting a 1999 Miata? It's got very low miles.
How old of a guy are you, Chase?
I'm 32.
Okay, so you're still pretty spry.
Yeah.
Early 30s.
I feel like I'm aging quickly daily, but it's okay.
Oh, it does that.
Yeah.
It does that.
I can't tell you the amount of nose hairs I picked out since I was 30.
Dude, gray ones? You're good gray
Not
ones?
Not the grays yet.
Oh, I've got gray ones. It's gross.
But it was like I hit 30 and all of a sudden the nose hair became a thing.
Nose hairs, and then I'll get little ear hair sprouts. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why is that a thing?
Well, we were at was it Speakeasy? Perhaps.
We're always at the Speakeasy.
Probably, yeah.
Shout out to Speakeasy.
I had a special gift for Josh. It was after work one day, and we're sitting at the bar, or at a table at the bar, and I walk up, I put my hand in my pocket, and I pull out a package, and I slide it across the table to him. And it was a pair of nose hair trimmers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I ordered a pair for myself, and Amazon, there was a little mix up at the warehouse, and they sent me two.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
he enjoyed them so much. Okay, this
sharing is caring, guys.
Sharing is caring, but that's like, would you have done that when you were like 25?
No.
I bought the most amazing pair of nose hair pliers.
Why are you Trump all of a sudden?
I don't know. At 25?
This is like a very effeminate Trump.
But you wouldn't I mean, yeah, but I was like, I was stoked to get it. Like, fuck yeah, man, that's nice.
Did you use them?
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're like they're your regular little personal trimmers, but the ends, they're not pointy. They have this weird round ball on the end.
So you can just really get up in there.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can just get up in there and you can just stab around and you don't hurt anything. They slide right in.
See, I need to make an investment.
You can also
that.
Spread the cheeks and just get right up in there too.
Cheeks?
Yeah, you got to get in that. You got to
with scissors?
No,
it's disgusting.
Obviously not.
Anyways, you should get a pair, man. I'll send you a link, man.
Yeah, please do.
They're good stuff. Link. But I did have a good idea just now. Teen Trump. It's a spin-off TV show or maybe an SNL skit. A coked out 80s Trump driving around the Ferrari with the cool pink hat on.
I feel like Trump would have driven a Miata.
If it was around.
When they first came out.
Oh, he probably bought one. He probably one of the souped up.
He was probably like, Dad, buy me a Miata.
A gold one.
I've got this pastel pink polo shirt and I've got to go have sex with a girl who told me she just turned 18.
Man. Is it me or does everybody have a decent Trump? It's an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
I feel like it's because we've just been completely overloaded with it.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can do a Trump impression whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
They forced it on you. It's like he put his album on your iPhone.
Yeah. I mean,
I was just thinking about that today, about the U2
Yeah,
thing. Oh
he
my
totally
gosh.
That, you know what though? That to me, one, I thought that U2 thing was great, but at the same time, it was like a prime example that nobody gives a shit about music anymore. You couldn't even give that shit away.
No,
people got it and they were like, "That's just an invasion of my privacy." It's
dude,
like,
I
you
deleted
just
that
gotta-
shit immediately.
I did. I gave it a once through.
Wait, did y'all both have it on your phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I missed that iteration of the iPhone,
Yeah.
so I missed the album. Damn it.
I gave it a once through, and then I was like, "Yeah, no fucking thanks. All right, I'm out."
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't Octane Baby, man. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
It's more Dismantle an Atomic Bomb
Right.
than, Joshua Tree.
So going back to my scooter. So man, I'm getting this thing, and I can totally get why people get like the bug,
Mhm.
like because I'm like riding around.
You already have a jean jacket
I do
completely covered in like Sputnik.
not
patches.
yet. No, not yet. But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
That's where the cue goes. I forgot my soundboard tonight. That one, yeah. No, so I'm riding around just like grinning from ear to ear like an idiot on my little black machine, my little black death trap.
I mean,
Right.
it's awesome. It's a really good feeling because you're out, like you're in the elements. Like you're not in a
Probably
car.
it's probably a similar freedom to like riding a bike for great distances, or like, you know what I mean?
Or going on a long walk.
Yeah.
Except you're on a scooter and it's not loud like a motorcycle, and you can go a little faster than
and
a
let's be
bicycle.
honest, nobody really likes motorcycles that are really loud.
No.
No,
don't.
that's really annoying.
Because
So you're gonna take the muffler off your scooter and make it really annoyingly
Oh
loud.
yeah.
right?
Put cards in the spokes. I'm gonna do every noise making thing possible.
I'm gonna pump my friends to the gas station on the corner.
Be that guy.
I got pegs on my Vespa.
I'm waiting for the day that Josh and I have to take the scooter somewhere together, like just like Dumb and Dumber, just going down 39th
You've had
Expressway.
2 pairs of gloves this whole time?
So man, what's going on? We invited you here. It's a long time. It's overdue, frankly.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. What's going on in your life? You just came from a gig?
Yeah, I just
a big
played
gig in the city.
Oh God, I seem to be playing a lot of random shows lately. I just played a show for a bunch of judges and lawyers at Remington Park, and there was a mix-up where I wasn't told that I needed to bring a sound system with me, and so I show up and there's not one, and I was like, okay, well. So I had to use the microphone on the podium and bend it down in order to like come out of the overhead speakers a little bit,
Okay, so wait, so is it like a conference room kind of a vibe?
It's like a banquet room.
Okay.
So it's like a banquet room, but like, and there's all, all the fancy dishes and food and all the stuff is set up. And really, ultimately, all it is some lawyers and judges getting piss drunk
Yeah.
on whatever company dime's picking it up.
At 5 p.m.?
I know.
4
I know.
p.m.?
I see. I thought the same thing because I thought that was a little late for them too.
Yeah. No, they're curing the hangover from lunch.
Right.
Ah, yeah.
Because that hits at 3.
The liquid lunch.
yeah.
Liquid lunch.
No, they were all really sweet, and I mean, basically, I got paid to just be some sort of like sonic aesthetic in the background.
Yeah.
So they have jazz bands.
They could have easily put on like a Spotify playlist.
You could seriously plug an iPhone in, and that shit would get away with it. I
Just
mean,
play that
you're
U2.
fine.
They're fine.
For sure.
They're totally good.
So I did that. That was interesting. I've just picked up some really random kind of gigs the last few weeks. I played a funeral last week, which was just like really depressing. I mean, it paid really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was just one of those deals where it was a really, really sad story, and this guy had depression and this and that. So it was just like, they were Catholic, so I was there for almost 2 hours,
Did you, in something like that, do you play cover songs or do you play originals or both?
Did you have a merch booth set up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got merch on the atrium. You guys, it's
Black
next,
t-shirts.
It's next to the donation bucket.
My buddy Steve's got merch outside.
Yeah. No, this guy's brother had emailed me and requested a song. It was just Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
Yeah.
So he requested that I play that. And so my hopes was like to do it, but be off, like be kind of out of sight. And they're like, no, we want you right up front so the family could see you. And I was like, so I'm playing it and I'm just like, do not make eye contact with the family, whatever you do, which I didn't.
Oh, see, that would have been the first thing I did. Like, don't do it. Oh, crap. I just did it. And I'm crying.
Yeah. Man, it was definitely a tough one because he was a really good dude, but he had really bad depression and a lot of people didn't realize how bad it was. And I think that a lot of people are always afraid to talk about things like depression and anxiety because it comes with such a negative stigma, even though that it totally shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't.
Because that's literally the opposite of what needs to happen. It needs to be, there needs to be this embrace and love and care. But yeah, it was sad. So I ended up doing that. And then I played this like Remington gig today. And so it's just kind of, I pick up these random gigs to just kind of have some extra money here and there, help with bills, try to save up, all sorts of stuff. So,
it's funny when it comes to depression, like, we're in this kind of, we're in this age right now where like things are coming to light. Is what I'm trying to say. So I'm a man of few words here.
Right.
Well, a lot of words, few thoughts, but we're in this age where everything matters. It's like things come up and we need to be more aware. We need to be more inclusive. We need to be more empathetic.
It's the information age.
It is. Right. I'm like the kids surfing on the surfboard. It's like the internet behind me, But the thing is like depression might be or mental illness, maybe the bigger picture. Mental illness might be behind even things that are kind of new to the game.
Absolutely. And I think too, for me, I've joked for years and now I like really stand behind it where I was like the downfall of civilization is going to be social media,
It's not far from the truth.
Because there's just, and also you just, because of social media, because of Facebook and stuff, I've realized, in the selfie game with Instagram launched the selfie game way up higher. Yeah. There's literally people who have profiles they're famous for having nothing but selfies, and it's the same fucking picture every day.
Oh, yeah. You're preaching to the choir here, man.
Well, it's so funny.
And then Snapchat took it to like a whole other level. Like, Snapchat came out like a couple of years ago, and I downloaded it like, this is goofy and stupid.
Dude, I still have it on my phone. I think yesterday I updated it for the first time. I posted on Snapchat for the first time.
I don't use it, but then it just exploded as this like... just another fucking thing to sign up for. Yeah. Like, why have all this shit? Yeah. Is your face... Are you narcissistic? Do you want to put shit on your face?
Right.
Let's make you even more narcissistic by putting all these filters. But now we can make it goofy, but then make you look pretty at the same time.
And I think all of that leads directly to these people who are like putting, a lot of these women are putting these filters on their face and it makes them look all dolled up.
Yeah, yeah.
And now they're giving themselves these false image impressions.
For sure.
And
that's interesting.
And so next thing you know, it's like I never realized how many people are just like, and I believe this, clinically narcissistic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we're like rats hitting the feeder bar. It's like, you start out being a little narcissistic, and then you have these apps and the social media and this instant gratification.
It's instant gratification, and so it becomes this addicting thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not just narcissism. I think it's like you said, anxiety, depression,
insecurity,
very much insecurity. And then when you get that it sends like dopamine to your brain. So
totally.
You just keep getting more and more like them. When someone doesn't like your picture, why didn't they like my picture? And then it goes into maybe I'm not pretty enough. It's this whole
and then those people will be
thing.
like, oh, I only got 20 fucking likes on this picture. I'm taking it down.
Oh yeah.
It's like, shut up. Like,
well, see, that was my problem. Like I was on social media. I still am.
Yeah.
And I'm
if I wasn't really into music, honestly, I would probably bow out of a lot of social media.
Well, I recently bowed out of my personal Instagram account because I run the one for my work. We have the one for boys that Josh and I share, and I just use it for promotion nowadays. And same with you. I still look at Facebook, but my Facebook has become a wasteland because I've hid everyone.
Yeah, after the whole voice thing, and I got 1 million friend requests, I probably have close to 200 pending friend requests right now, but I only have space for like 30 more. And so it's one of those deals where it's like, well, I don't fucking know you people. Like, no offense to them, but it's like, I don't know you. And people, man, there's this weird mentality that comes with people who are like, well, we're friends on Facebook. I'm like, that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, no, dude, I got friends on Facebook that I'll see in public and they'll say something like, I don't know who you are.
I don't know you.
I don't know who
like,
you are.
Stop being, and then like, you want to be like, stop being so fucking weird. And then those people will be like, you're being an asshole. And it's like, how am I being an asshole? You're being a fucking weirdo. Like,
so wait, these people
know you.
You get like friend requests like on your personal page or
on my
your
personal
music
page? Yeah.
Fuck, man.
So what I'm thinking about doing, honestly, is just like completely dismantling the whole personal page, deleting, and it's a fucking process to delete your page. But I'm honestly
because you can't really delete it. You can get rid of it and it's inactive.
Oh no, you can delete.
You can totally delete
but
it.
it's like a process.
You can delete, but it is a process in order to do it.
But you have one for like...
It is like trying to escape an IKEA. They made it a fucking maze.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's like trying to find a bathroom in the
It is
IKEA.
leaving a Scientology temple. Like, you're not getting out. You're stuck.
You're stuck, man.
Yeah, there's not
the only way you get out is by going clear.
There's not a link at the top like, hey, delete now. It's like you have to dig and dig and dig
and go because because what happens is there's all this information that's just tracking your ass through Facebook. It's so stupid.
It's creepy as fuck.
It is fucking creepy. It's like Big Brother ain't watching. Big Brother is stalking your ass.
Yeah, I'll get ads for things that I've never looked up, but I've talked about to people with. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that I was even talking about that thing?
Yeah.
Microphones and cameras.
I
know it's the world shit.
We're getting Alex Jones here,
but it's true. He recently got in a little bit of trouble, but that's whatever.
Yeah,
dude,
that's
so
aside.
funny. So funny.
But no, so I listened to this radio show, Jim and Sam on Sirius, and they I'm gonna butcher this name, Moshe Kasher.
Moshe Kasher.
Moshe. Okay.
Moshe Kasher.
Moshe Kasher was a guest, and I was actually listening to him all the way home from work today, and they were talking about social media and Facebook, and he had some really interesting points about not only does it feed the addictive personality and the insecurities, but it also creates a bubble. And all the algorithms behind it, like Facebook, the Facebook team, they design that app and that website to make you want to spend as much time as possible on Facebook. Yeah, and it's not. I mean, they're not doing anything wrong. If you owned a business, you would want people to spend as much time as possible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A coffee shop, a record store, a candy store, whatever. Like you aren't being like, no, just come by for 5 minutes and leave. Like, no, you want them
in there. You want bodies in there.
Yeah. So he explained like the way they make their algorithms is it's updated in a way to where, like, now back in my day, it was you saw the most recent stories first.
Yeah, now it's not.
No, and same with Instagram. And I think Twitter's starting to do it with the while you are away.
Twitter, actually, I think they tried to beta test that once for like a week, and it got so many complaints that people were like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, what's the point in having something if you like this if it's not in chronological order? Because then you can't actually see anything. Like from the people that you follow, that you would want to, or like friends or whatever.
Yeah. Like, what's so wrong with the feed?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man, But it's definitely one of those things that, to me, people have become so obsessed with image crafting. So it's kind of like, it's like the kid who just plays video games and never went outside, not necessarily to play sports, but just never went outside to go play in the front yard or ride his bike or any of that shit, right?
Or go anywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. So what happens is, like, those are the people on Facebook. Those are the people that are stuck trying to prove to the rest of the world that they are a valid human, and what they need to do is shut the fuck up and just own the fact that you are a valid human. Everybody is valid, so you don't need to sit there and like post a million fucking selfies that all look the same with stupid filters on them.
Well, and you don't have to be a rock and roll star.
No,
you don't have to be a podcast host.
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like you know what, like. Be happy and be content with who you are, and let that be the thing. And if your friends are interested and they want to see what's going on in your life, then they'll go and look.
Sure. The other side of that is it's flipped from like the selfie game to people who document everything. So
which kills me. It's like you get on Instagram, there's 40 pictures in a row, and you're just like, fucking fuck you, I'm out of here.
So last weekend I went to Lawrence. My wife and I went to Lawrence, and we saw Newfound Glory at the Granada. Fucking I love going to Lawrence. They were there. I was like, fuck, it'd be fun.
Granada rules.
Granada fucking rules. Lady Bird Diner, shout out, best breakfast in Lawrence. So we're there, and it's just a sea of people with their phones up, recording the whole show, but jamming and singing along to them. Like, put this thing down and be here.
Be present. Be present.
Because like at a pop punk show like that, like, yeah, you can, but the point is to be in it, like,
dude, and that is
interactive,
and it's so fucking inconsiderate to the people behind you.
I mean, like, you play a lot of shows.
So inconsiderate.
How do you get a lot of that? You're like people putting phones up and trying to record?
No, because I'm not fucking cool enough. People are like, I'm not putting this shit on Instagram. This guy sucks.
No, they're just looking at their phone. They're not filming anything.
They get their phones out, but it's more of a distraction for my dumbass on stage.
Well, they're just taking selfies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they flip the camera back on them.
Yeah.
But I went to one of the years I played at South by Southwest. I remember Broken Social Scene was playing. And me and my buddy Michael went. We were fucking going, dude. So we go, and it was about 2 songs in, and Kevin Drew, the singer, was like, "Hey, everybody, real quick, get your phone out and take a picture." So everybody pulls their phone out and is taking a picture. He goes, "Okay, great. Now put that thing the fuck away. If I see one, I'm gonna kick you out." And like,
did it work?
Yeah, the majority of the place actually applauded because most people didn't have their phones out, but there were people up close blocking these views of everyone else. And so he goes, "Listen, you're losing your mind to a fucking device. Just be here and enjoy the show." Yeah. And I was like, "Thank you." So the majority of all concerts I go to, I might take 1 or 2 pics, like super quick, and then I put my phone back away.
Yeah.
And those are for me, so I can be like, yeah, I got this rad pic of this, like I remember My Morning Jacket show at Criterion, and the lighting was just so dope.
Right.
And so I was like, hell yeah, and I took a pic, and I was like, sweet, got it.
Yeah.
Put my phone back away.
But that's interesting you bring that up because I'm the same way. Like, I'm not so, I don't have as much self-control to be like, I'm not pulling my phone out at all.
Right.
I'll take a photo. I took videos when I was younger, but now I'm just like, I just want like a cool shot.
Yeah.
Like I recently, like the last really cool band I saw was like Warpaint down in Dallas, and I'm in love with this band. Like I love them.
I bet that show kicked ass.
It wasn't in Dallas. It was in Austin. It was at Trees.
Oh,
it was
no. Trees is Dallas.
Trees is Dallas. Okay, I'm getting all mixed up. Trees in Dallas. Warpaint, 2016, 2017. Fuck, where
this
are
year,
we? It was this year. Okay. Yeah, I know. I need that audio drop again. What was it? Thank you. All right. That kind of sounded like Aziz Ansari a little bit too.
We're gonna isolate that and put that on the soundboard. That's gonna be
should be your thing. Just a really shitty Chase Kerby version.
That's really good. So okay, seeing this band. The lighting was incredible. Like these beautiful hazy pink lights with fog and everything. And I was up in the balcony and I did want to snap a photo to remember. But the interesting thing is like my brain could have remembered it. I'm not going to forget that moment. Well, and are you really going to look at your phone again and like stare at your phone and be like, man, that was such a good time.
I will say this, what I do is like, because, it's like I plug my phone into my computer every day and I back up all the time. And so these photos, I have these photos and they're your computer puts them in chronological order in which you took the photos on your phone. And I had forgotten about all these old photos from this tour I did like 3 or 4 years ago with one of the bands that I play in. And I was like, oh man, I forgot about these. And so for me, it's kind of like, you're not going to forget your wedding day.
Yeah.
But you'd like a nice photo.
But you want to be able to look back on it and be like, oh, I do remember this. And that was so good. And you want to be able to reminisce. And so in a way, it's like without, obviously without a spouse, but to yourself, I think that when you're at these shows, you want to be able to, you take the quick picture like, man, because you might even think like, maybe you and a buddy are talking one day and you're like, oh shit, man, the lighting at that Warpaint show was incredible. Because you might be talking about best live experience. Or the band, check out this pic I have.
Yeah, or the band had like a really cool setup on stage. Like the Deftones show, they had that huge thing in the back and the lights were fucking crazy. Like, that's a really cool stage setup. Snap a quick pic. Good. That way you can be like, go back and be like, it was cool. I'm not just remembering that weird. It was cool.
Yeah. Also at the Criterion, which I love that venue.
I do too.
Like, I think it's great.
Hopefully, I hope that everything works out with it. I know it's kind of in a rough spot right now.
Well, I'm curious, and this is complete outsider point of view, but like, why don't they have more shows?
They have shit. What my brain? Explosions of the Sky. They're coming.
That's cool.
I have heard a few rumors, but one of them was that Live Nation blacklisted them.
Oh, yeah, that's not, if that's true, which, allegedly, that's not good.
So that means Ticketmaster then. Ticketmaster, Live Nation are the same
I don't know, entity. So apparently it just kind of, that's why it's just been an uphill battle and at least the important thing is we have the building and the venue. So if new ownership or something came in, that's one thing. But, I know the people that were behind it were busting their ass, but I just don't know if it panned out. And part of that is because we're Oklahoma City.
Yeah. I was talking to Atlee at work today.
Not to be an asshole, but...
No, I was talking to our buddy Atlee at work today, and he made a really good point. He was talking to a fellow that came through the shop, and we were talking about what I was kind of lurking, listening, kind of chiming in here and there. And we were talking about why Oklahoma City doesn't get big shows. And he said, man, look at a map of the United States. Okay. Take a pin, put it in Tulsa. Take a piece of string, do like a 2 hour, hour and a half, 2 hour circle.
Solve a crime.
Yeah. Connect the dots. Find Zodiac. Josh. Anyways, no, do a circle around Tulsa in a 2 hour radius. Do a circle around Dallas. We're like right in the middle.
We're right in the middle. And the thing is, Oklahoma City actually used to have a really awesome, and it has this really awesome music history from back in the day. I mean, you can go down like the Deep Deuce, right? And so there was a lot of really amazing African American culture and history that happened down there. I mean, the Baptist church down there, they actually turned Martin Luther King Jr. down for a job because they said he was too young to be the pastor there. Yep.
Was he blacklisted?
No.
There's a little joke for you.
Yeah.
Bad one.
But the Walnut Street Bridge that's right there, like Skinny Slims and all those places down there, that bridge, so that area used to be, so what happened is you had these amazing like African-American musicians, and they would be coming from St. Louis straight down I-35 on the way to Austin. And so in that right, Oklahoma City is the best place to stop. And so you had these amazing like jazz and blues and gospel and stuff all down there, and in that area it was a safe space, and that's actually where like that's what the name Deep Deuce, like that's when that was the Deep Deuce, Okay. Now it's like the Deep Deuce district. Everything's a district, but I live in District 9.
Well, you got to have districts, man.
You gotta have districts, I guess.
I mean, it started out
humans just have to compartmentalize everything.
Oh yeah,
well, yeah. Of
Even
course.
when there's nothing there for it.
Yeah,
like that.
Hey, that's a bottle of water. It's like I'm gonna split it up into a couple different bottles.
A couple of different bottles of water. What's that? They're calling the North May thing something now?
What?
Yeah, like from 63rd and May up, it's called like
Bullshit.
Cousins
Noma or something.
Yeah, boring.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's nothing to do
vintage
there.
stock.
Called, what? White suburbia? Who gives a shit?
No, I'm talking past that shit. Like they're talking like, well, like where like Galaxy Vintage and all that shit was back in the day. Like that, they're trying to make that a district. Like we're dug out.
Oh yeah. Like north of Britain.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's dumb. I'm gonna have to go and say no.
So
I never go to that side of town.
No, ever.
are you talking about like up where like Davies Music was back in the day? And there's like the board shop up
It's
there.
like where
It's
Sun
like
and
where
Ski
the-
Sports.
Sun and Ski. It's where Sun and Ski Sports.
Yeah, that
is.
area where there's absolutely nothing to go to.
There isn't.
That is the section of May between the two malls, basically, where I just look straight forward, and
Yeah.
I never get out of my car there.
I would go when the
And it's not like it's a dangerous area. You just don't, because
Don't
you're afraid
go.
that if you get out of the car, you're going to get back in your car a little more bland than you were.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
I'm bored.
To do.
You just get in your car and you're the color gray. Like, oh my God, I'm
But yeah, a lot of
gray.
districts.
It's like they have Herd on Herd in Edmond. Should be like Gray on May.
Gray on
Just
May.
have a little
Yeah.
festival.
have
just
nuts, have-
super bland.
Have just the most bland bullshit.
That would be hilarious. Just cheese sandwiches, food trucks, like, but not like grilled cheese, just cold cheese sandwiches
With a little mayo.
Yeah, like
Good
Kraft mayo and Wonder Bread.
Well, Chase, speaking of compartmentalizing, part of this show is to kind of talk about our history, where we came from. And, we know each other pretty well. We have quite a history ourselves.
Yeah.
But I don't really know much about where you came from, how you were raised, your backstory, basically.
Yeah.
So perhaps we should start at the beginning.
Well, here we go. Okay, I'll try to summarize this as much as I can. Born and raised.
Did I mention this is a 5-hour podcast?
Oh, cool.
All right.
We're gonna Mark Maron the shit out of this.
I'm going to go ahead and cancel band practice tonight.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. My parents got divorced when I was 3. Both were remarried by the time I was... One was remarried by the time I was 6. Another was remarried by the time I was like 7 or 8. Then both got divorced again. And then both of them got remarried by the time I was in high school. My brother and I always had kind of an interesting relationship, and we're close now, but it was kind of one of those deals where he was always just getting in trouble. My brother's adopted, but he was adopted long before I was ever born. And so he was always like kind of bouncing in and out of group homes and this and that, and so growing up, I had a tendency to have a pretty vivid imagination and spend a lot of time by myself because he was always in trouble. So I would just be alone in my room, like playing with my toys or like go hanging out with my friends as much as I could. Started playing. I was obsessed with like jazz and big band when I was in 11 or 12 years old. My dad got me into that.
Okay, let me pause you right there.
Mm-hmm.
Cherry Pop and Daddies, right? That kind of thing?
Yeah. Brian Setzer.
I think you just answered it, but I was going to ask, how did an 11 or 12-year-old get into big band? Because when I was 11 and 12, I was listening to like MC Hammer.
Okay, so I was a huge Michael Jackson fan too. So I had one of those bicycles that had the plastic shell on it that looked like a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it had like a little area up front, little cubby where the fake ass windshield was, right? And
Okay.
I had a small Walkman that had a speaker in it, and I had Michael Jackson Bad on cassette, and I used to fucking tear ass through my neighborhood listening to Michael Jackson Bad.
You must have been like the coolest kid because
Not really. I didn't even kiss a girl till I was 17. So
really,
people just don't. I don't think people like me.
Well, that's why we brought you here tonight, to make fun of you, ostracize you, and compartmentalize you.
You're like, there's actually a line of guests outside who are all going to roast the shit out of
Yeah.
you fucking chump.
17. So I think I may have met you when you were 17. When did you start chasing Paris?
Chasing Paris started when I was 17.
Okay, because you guys played the Blue Note.
Yep.
One night, and I had just turned 21. We were drinking there, and you guys played, and it blew me the fuck away. And I was like, these are toddlers. They're not supposed to be in this bar.
It was back when Carl owned it, and there was no stage, just a step.
Yeah.
And it was 18 and up because it was a beer bar. They didn't serve liquor. So it was actually when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So Drew Hall took me there to go check out, like, I think Shade 7 was playing a show.
Sure.
But like, Josh Hogan was there, and so like there he was like, Drew's filling me in on all these people, like, there's Bristol Park, there's Shade 7, Minutes Too Far somewhere, blah blah blah. And so I kind of like saw these guys, and like looking back on it, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, like, I'm a firm believer in being a fan first, and a musician or artist, whatever you do, second, And so I saw these guys like Josh Hogan, and he and I are really good friends now, but it was like, he was a fucking rock star, man. Like, in my eyes, I was like, holy shit, this guy's a celebrity, And so that was always really cool. So I remember playing there. We played for like 20 Minutes to Vegas and all that shit. But yeah, I remember playing a Blue Note show one time on a Thursday night and having to like go to school the next morning at PC North.
Was this the Blue Note that had the like terrible mural behind the stage of like a guitar and a drum kit?
Yep.
Man, the good old days.
And then my freshman year of college, like the next year, Carl used to be like, hey, Chase, I had a band drop off on Tuesday. You want to play? I'm like, Carl, it's fucking Monday. I mean, yeah, let me make a few phone calls. We used to play there 2 or 3 times a week. And half the guys went to OSU, and they fucking hated me because I'd call them and be like, hey, we got a show tomorrow night. And they're like, fuck, Chase, you got to ask, man.
Yeah, driving from Stillwater.
On
Right.
a Tuesday.
On like a Tuesday, yeah. With no pay, but I was just so eager to play.
But it'll probably be cool if we drink beers or something.
Yeah. And I had a Japanese roommate at the time because I went potluck. And so here I am at UCO, and there is a massive language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm going to like hang out in my dorm and have conversations with somebody who...
Yeah.
Wait, okay, go back to potluck. What does that mean?
When you go potluck, it's like when you, instead of like designating a roommate going into college, they'll just assign you whoever.
Is it completely random?
Uh-huh.
Man, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You can pick your own roommate?
Yeah. You can either pick a roommate,
or they pick one for you. Because when you said potluck, my mind immediately went to like those church potluck dinners.
Right. You either show up with the potatoes or you fucking don't,
So let's go back to this potluck.
Oh, there's no potatoes. Sister Susan, I told you a million times, you're bringing the mashed potatoes.
Damn it.
Yeah, I just see like an angry fat man throwing his fork down. There's no potatoes. I'm out of here. I'm an atheist now.
What kind of... These are powder potatoes. I said fresh. Shit. Fuck you.
So let's
Somebody
go back
gets hit in the face
It's an
with a dinner
aggressive
roll.
church you go to.
Let's go back to this potluck.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, being a roommate with somebody you could not communicate with? Was there a lot of hand gestures?
It was a lot of really awkward nods. He came straight from Japan and had only lived here for like 2 months prior to the semester starting. And it was so funny because I'll never forget the day that my mom and dad are helping me move into my dorm, it was Murdaugh Hall, and the nickname was Murder Hall because the place was like the oldest dorm on UCO's campus, built in like the early 1900s. The basement was terrifying as fuck. Like, you never wanted to go down there. And like the rooms were like prison rooms.
Yeah.
Basically. You had in your sink, you had one faucet that had hot water and you had one faucet that had cold. So you had to cup under enough to like wash your face and shit. It was just terrible. It was stupid. So, but I'll never forget walk into the hall where my mom and my dad and myself are carrying boxes and walking in, and I get a look at what one of the dorms looks like, and I was like, that's a fucking prison cell. Oh God. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what is that terrible smell? Like somebody killed death, let it rot a few times, and then
shit itself,
and then pooped on it, put it in a blender, and threw it at a skunk. Like that's what it smelled like. It was so bad. And of course it was my fucking room. And I walk in there and it's just atrocious. And it was my now Asian Japanese roommate, and he was cooking something really bad, and he like burned the shit out of it in the microwave. And it was like I don't want to say that. That's fucked up. It was like somebody microwaved a fucking turd. Like, and it exploded like a hot dog, you know? And so it was like this terrible smell. And I'm just like, of course, like that is how my college career started off, with a roommate that didn't speak any English and the smelliest room. So people were shutting their doors.
So did you have to live in the dorms? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, but like, I don't know how it is now. Then you had to like live in the dorms, or you had to like shell out all this extra money for something else. But for the second semester, a buddy of mine, he and I were into the same kind of music, and we would go to concerts and stuff like that. And we met in my like physical science class. And so he hated his roommate because his roommate was a prick. And so we were like, dude, fuck it. So we got like a suite, which was nice. You know, I mean, still, like, it's college. Those rooms are the most bland fucking rooms.
Yeah, brick, and then maybe one window in the corner or something.
Right, like here's your mini fridge.
Yeah,
you know, have fun.
And a desk you share.
Have fun learning how to be an adult and with a mini fridge. You know, but it was, you know, the potluck thing. I mean, the guy's name was Masahumi Hayashi, but he asked me to call him Boone, which I fucking lost it.
Why?
You know what? I don't know, man. I was like Daniel. He said, yeah. I said, word.
Word. That's cool.
And here's what's crazy. So UCO's library back then used to have these giant windows on one side, right? And so all of these Japanese guys and girls would use those windows like mirrors in a dance studio. And they, every single night, sometimes even when it was cold as shit, they would be outside using it and rehearsing breakdancing. Okay.
This
is not made up. I'm not trying to say like all Japanese people break dance.
But all Japanese people break. Well, all Japanese people at UCO in like 2000, whatever.
2003, 2004.
Broke
they straight
broke
up
dance.
They done broked it.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea that Boone was part of that crew. So I'm walking around campus, and that whole first semester, just randomly, these like super short little Asian dudes would be like, "Hi, Chase." And I'd be like, what's up, man? But I don't know who they are. I have no idea. Turns out Boone was like the Tony Soprano of this like dance mafia. And I had no clue. I would like come into my dorm room, like later on that first semester, I'd come into my dorm room. There'd be like 15 Japanese dudes in there all watching these like videos on his computer of breakdance stuff.
Wow.
Like doing their homework.
Right.
Yeah, studying.
But it was crazy though. Like there was, the only way I could think to describe him, he was a really, really, really just sweet human being. He was squirrely though. I came home one day because we shared a practice space with, I was in the Chasing Paris, and we shared a practice space with Minutes Too Far here in Bethany. And since there was this huge language barrier, and I basically every day I would go to the practice space and just hang out alone, right? And so I would come back to the dorm late at night. And so I come back one time, and Boone is like in my bed, not like under the covers, but he had like passed out on top of my bed. And in my head, I'm like, dude, your bed is like 4 fucking feet. It's right there. You literally, 1 foot could hit the ground, and your next could hit the little ladder on the side to climb up into your bed.
Yeah, just dance over there.
That's just fucking Tokyo Drift that shit, dog. I don't know. But so he bought one of those. So like, and so I had this art class, and I'm like staying up late one night. So that was him in my bed once. Like, and like, I didn't know how to wake him up though. And so I kind of shut the door a little hard, and he like fucking Nosferatu, like comes up from a flat sleep, and he's looking at me, just utter confusion. Like no one's home. I don't know if he was drunk or high or just fucking weird. I don't know. But it's like no one's home, and he's just like looking at me, and I was like, of course, the only thing that like a dumb white guy like myself could say is, "Sup, dude?" You know, like that was it. So he gets in his bed. So then like this other time, I'm sitting there and I'm working on this art project, and my bed was like, his was kind of, when you first walked in to the room, there was 2 small closets on the left and right. And then we just kind of split the room down the middle, right? And so my bed was kind of on the far wall when you walk in, put in a corner. His bed was immediately to the left, on like the left wall.
Okay.
And so
like catty corner to each other.
Yeah. And I would like, you know, I would stay up. I had a lamp right there, and I would stay up late working on this art project. And so I remember one time, okay, so he went and bought one of those like cage things at like Target that you put your mattress on top and your desk and shit can go underneath.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Except he had like dog food size bags of rice and stuff.
Wow.
Just stockpiled. And a few other things. And he never really put his desk under there. He put like his dresser or something. So I'm sitting there, but he built this thing because the way that like one side had a guard so you wouldn't fall off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The other side didn't, and it was supposed to go against the wall. Well, the problem was the side with the way the ladder was on one end. If he had put it to where the guard was going to actually serve its purpose, then the ladder would be against the wall in the corner and he wouldn't be able to utilize it, right? So he's sleeping in this thing and there's no guard. So it's about 2 a.m. and I'm working on an art project, and it's like this big piece of paper. And so I'm sitting there and I got my lamp on and some headphones in, being real quiet. And I kind of hear like a you know, rustling on the bed. And I was like, I kind of look over and I look right to see him roll off his bed. And this shit was 6 feet up. I'm not even kidding. It was as tall as I am. And those floors are solid concrete.
Yeah.
So he rolls off his bed and he's perfectly parallel to the ground. I mean, it was like almost like this slow motion. He falls perfectly parallel, hits the floor, had to have fucked up his face. There's no way. There's no way his face didn't just smash that shit, right? Hits the floor. In a split second, he's bounced up back on his feet, and then just crawls back up into bed and acts like nothing fucking happened. Oh my God. And meanwhile, I'm absolutely frozen in the corner with this art thing. Like, I'm not even moving my pencil. I'm just looking at him like,
because language barrier, right? You can't be like, "Are you okay, man?"
Like, I was like, "You good?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then you just got back in bed. I was like, "Dude, if that was me, like my fucking arm would have been broken, or my face would have been crushed. I would have looked like Russell Westbrook in that one game where he had a dent in his cheek."
Yeah.
You know, like, and it was the funniest thing to me. And then on the last day, I told him that I was moving out and that I got a new roommate, a buddy of mine, blah blah blah. And he was really nice. And he was like, you know, "It was good rooming with you." And I said, "Thanks, Boone. It's good rooming with you too, man." And he places his 2 boots in the middle of very middle of the room. And he walks up to him, and this is all in rhythm. So you could have very well had like a tempo going in the background, right? He walks up to it in rhythm, sticks his feet in them, all in rhythm. So it's like right foot, left foot. And then 1, 2, takes 2 steps, stops, bends down, grabs the heels of the boots, pulls them up, stands back up straight, and then starts walking. It was like a fucking marching band move for him to just put his boots on and go to whatever class he was going to. And I was just, in my head, that's where the term squirrely came from. I was like, that's the squirreliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's really weird, even for a dancer.
Yeah, like most people just sit down.
Oh yeah,
it's like most people sit down to like put their shoes on. Yeah. But this dude did it in rhythm, and it was
especially
one of those,
boots, dude. Boots aren't easy to put on.
No, they're really not. So he's like he puts his feet in them in rhythm, and the heels of them are crunched down. Then he stops and puts them through those little loops on the back of boots.
Oh yeah,
goes whop, clap, up, walking, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, that dude's life is a song. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Chase, life is rhythm. One day you'll understand that, right? Yeah,
rhythm is life.
You'd be like me.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't even get the reference at first.
Yeah.
Oh my God, mind blown. So, okay, let's go back. I want to go back and talk about the music thing a little bit more. Was Chasing Paris your first real band, or were there bands before that, or were there the garage bands, or like what?
There were definitely garage bands. There was one. You're in a high school band. You go through like a million fucking names, right? And
you play covers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, my first show was at HD's Onion Burger, and I think we were called A Spirited Few or something like that. And
the Onion Burger spot had a place for you to play?
Nah, man, it was so I worked there. That was my first job in high school. I cut 3 5-gallon buckets. I sliced 3 5-gallon buckets of onions every day. I peeled 3 5-gallon buckets of onions every day. I rolled 6 pans of raw meat, and I cut 5 buckets of French fries every day after school. I would go home. My hands.
Your skin must have been great.
It was fucking yellow as shit. Like,
I bet you smelled fantastic.
I had to shower with holy water. It was, it was bad. But so Heath, the guy that used to own it, he was the H in that arrangement. But it was like he was all about his Harley Davidson. So we're playing some like biker get together at this thing. There's still pictures of it. It could not have been more awkward, but it was whatever. That was our first show. And I'm trying to think of different names. There was A Spirited Few, Radius, Chapter, which really ultimately became Chasing Paris.
That sounds really familiar.
Chapter was what it was before Chasing Paris.
Okay, I may have saw a show with Chapter.
I was obsessed with like Deep Elm bands.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, dude, Chapter sounds like a fucking Deep Elm band, which it totally does.
Sounds emo as fuck.
It fucking does, man.
What's so weird? I going back like, and not that I've had the illustrious career that you have. Being on TV. Yeah, I mean, you've been on TV. Come on, man.
Yeah, okay.
I DVR'd you. All right, I tuned in. I never had the weird band names.
Yeah?
Like, no, not really. Like, every band I've ever been in was just like, okay, we're going to be a band now for a little while, until...
Well, to me, it's one of those things where it's like, looking back on it, what I probably should have focused on in college was marketing. Because branding and marketing is what I've had to do for myself for 15 years now, since I was 17.
Well, it's the thing that, when you're in a band, like, it's the last thing you think of, because all you're thinking of is like writing songs and playing the booking shows and playing those songs, and then getting everyone else in the band to come to fucking practices and come to shows.
To like not be dead weight.
Exactly. And that's probably why, I felt the same way for a while, like just doing solo shit makes it a lot easier because you don't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
But marketing's the last thing you fucking think about, and that's everything you should be thinking about.
Well, and a friend of mine and I had this really lengthy conversation once about music being a product. And so many bands are like, fuck that, man. My music is for me. It's for the fans. It's not a product. It's like, fuck you, man. If you put it in tangible form,
it's a product.
It's a fucking product, dude.
If you package it, if you record it and edit it and master it, it's a product.
I want to be like, motherfucker, that's got a barcode on the back of it. It's itemized, dog.
You might as well get that shit tattooed on the back of your neck. You know what I'm saying?
I feel the
You're
same way.
A product too.
We all are, man. I feel the same way about like playing shows. I have friends in bands who are like, they play someplace and I'm like, oh, it's cool. And like, talk about, do you guys get paid? No. Like, you have to.
You have to get paid.
You get paid. Like, no, we do. It's just, it's art, man. I'm like, dude, fuck that shit.
Oh, fuck that.
Get paid.
People, you know what? People with that mentality are fucking it up for the rest of us, man.
Yeah, get
fuck
paid.
that. No, it's, you know what? Art of any medium. I don't give a shit. If you don't give yourself value, nobody else will.
Exactly. 100%.
Because
that venue you're playing, you're bringing people there.
Right.
You bought instruments, which are fucking expensive. You put time out of your day to practice. You drove there. You hauled it. You performed for somebody. And then you walk away with what? $1 off of beers?
Right.
3 drink tickets, man. I made it big.
Yeah.
And didn't pay for hams tonight. It's good.
Yeah. They don't even let you get decent drinks. Like, well, you get 3 free drink tickets and you get half off of well. And you're like, oh, you fucking pricks. Like,
No.
I hate venues that don't give bands free beer and that sort of thing, and that don't pay them.
See, it's so interesting, man. Like, I agree. I totally think, like you said, if you don't value yourself, whatever. But that's not like I was downplaying it. I totally wasn't. But man, from where I came from, like, we never fucking got paid. But we also weren't good.
I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid until, like, I honestly probably played 50 to 70 shows before ever really getting paid. And even at that, like, I think it was like $100, and we freaked the fuck out. We were like, it's all happening. Fuck our career. We made it, guys. And it's
ready to quit that job, buy the van, hit the road.
I retired at 21. It was crazy.
there are some venues around town that will definitely fucking pay bands. And when I have friends bands that play there, and they say they did, and I'm like, did you stick around or did you just fucking leave? Because they definitely
did you ask?
There's a reason why they ask for your information at the beginning of the show, because they're writing you out shit. They're gonna write you a check. Right.
Who do I make this out for?
Yeah.
Like, did you fill out a tax form at that show?
Yes.
Get your fucking check, dude.
Get your money,
because either way, you're going to have to pay on it. Because whether you took that check to the bank or not, that tax form, they're sending to their CPA come tax season.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to pay on it no matter what. You might as well get that check, set 10% back in a savings or a checking account that's for businesses.
Even if it was a $200 check, put $20 back.
$20 back, boom. You got $80 to do whatever the hell you want with, and you got $20 to pay your taxes because it's a 1099, so you got to do it.
I think when you're in a band, you know, not so much a solo artist, because you like being a solo artist or having a backing band. You know, if it's Chase Kerby and the blank, like you're probably ultimately responsible for collecting.
That's the next band name.
Well, I do.
Chase Kerby and the Blanks.
My band is called Chase Kerby and the Villains.
Yes.
Yeah, in a way, there's the whole thing. If you do like a sole proprietorship, then it's like all the blame, or it's like all the fame, all the blame is the saying. Mm-hmm. You know, I will say it's a hell of a lot easier for me to book solo shows and just show up and play. And you don't have to worry about like, well, if you do it solo, you're only liable for yourself in a way. So it's like, hey, I've got $100 guarantee. I'm not going to book a 5-piece band to come play for an hour for $100, or, you know, or 2 hours for $100, where it's like, those are additional rehearsals of not only just me, but of every other person in the band. Right. But if it's people are like, hey, I want to do this thing and it's $100, can you play? And I'm like, yeah, solo. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. I'm like, okay, yeah, solo acoustic. Yeah, I can play an hour for $100.
And with that, you just literally just bring your acoustic in a case.
I show up with my acoustic and my pedals. I plug in, I play, I pack up, I leave.
That's why old John Moreland's doing it right, man.
Dude, yeah.
He played in the band for a while.
Him and John Calvin, killing it. They're just crushing it.
John Moreland did the right... Speaking of fucking marketing, that dude knew how to do it right. And then you get publishing, that's how you do it.
It's so weird, though, with John, like... Moreland, not Calvin.
Right.
I don't know Johnny Calvin that well, but...
Johnny...
Didn't he used to go by Johnny Calvin? I believe he did.
No, he went by...
there was a Johnny in there someday.
When he played drums and...
he went...
what was that band?
Pool Boy?
Yeah.
When he went by John Calvin, and then he started going by... I think it was John Calvin Abney, or John Abney Calvin, or something like that.
Oh, I was thinking Johnny Moreland.
Yeah, because
old Johnny Moreland.
Because John Calvin, there's another John Calvin out there, and so it was like getting confusing, and so he put Abney in there as his middle name, or or
it went John Calvin
name.
Abney.
Yeah, John Calvin Abney. So
well, my thing with John Moreland is like I always thought he was like the anti-marketing, but now I realize it's all part of this master plan. Like, he's not a dumb guy,
right? To the way I look at it, the way I look at like artistry and marketing is kind of like religion, right? Mm-hmm. When an atheist says I don't believe in anything, that's bullshit, because that's exactly what you believe in, right? So even in the absence of nothing, it is still a belief. So you can say, well, I'm an artist, I'm not going to do marketing. It's like, no. You're just acting as the antithesis of marketing. Mm-hmm. That is your marketing. You're the conforming nonconformist. I mean, it's just this kind of perpetuating cycle that can go over and over again.
Yeah, the whole punk rock thing.
Yeah, and so it's like, no, man, fuck that, I'm punk. It's like, bullshit. You want to sell CDs at the end of your fucking show, too. Don't act like you're above that, you know? And so it's one of those deals, too, where it's like, I wish people would just fucking own it. You know? Like, just, who gives a shit? Do what you want. Because anybody who acts so cynical like that, to me, is just trying to prove something to everybody else, which is exactly what punk rock shouldn't be about.
Yeah. No, man, I really want to work this shitty 9-to-5 job that I fucking hate and then go play this show on the weekend, not sell anything. I just want to keep doing that. Yeah. I don't want to make money doing this thing that I actually love doing because I'm too punk for that. Yeah. That's kind of that's what I hear when people say that shit.
Yeah, and to me it's one of those things too where it's like I say, just do what makes you happy. Like if you are working that 9-to-5, but you're making good money and it allows you to like fund your music more, do it. You know, if you get out on the weekends and do some weekend warrior shit, you can still you can still do all of it, and it's just great experience. Because ultimately, I think that any form of art, very much, I think more painting and music oriented, but all forms of art is just this journey of self-identification. You know, and so many people try to prove to the other people, to their quote unquote fans, like, this is who I am. It's like, you don't know who the fuck you are. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta lose a lot. But ultimately, it's about those times where you're quiet and you're alone, and then you start realizing who you really are, you know? There's a really awesome self-portrait that I think it was Pablo Picasso that did it. And it was like when he was in his early 20s, and then later on in life before he died. And they're two self-portraits from completely different eras. And one of them's like, you know, the one towards the end of his life is like way cubism shit that he was into. And then, but the early one was like way more accurate. you know?
That's interesting because as I get older, like my brain feels more cubist. Like I see things more abstractly than I did when I was a kid. I don't know if that's a developmental thing or if I'm just a burnout or what, but it's just like, man, as I get older, you know, I get more scared of things like in the world today, like things that are going on and you know, law and Congress and everything like that, but our president, whatnot. But I almost kind of like want to just let go and be like, well, I'm going to die soon. So,
you know,
fuck it.
One of my best friends has a really good mentality. It's one of those deals where he's like, I wake up every day and he goes, and my only worries are doing my best for my wife and my kid. And there's this like relief to that. And I think that it's kind of this rule that states that it's like, you know, if you do your best, you don't have to have regret. No matter what the outcome is, you could do your best and still lose the game, but you did your best. Why would you? If that's the best you got, then that's the best you got. Don't worry about it. You know.
But I think a majority of people aren't really doing their best or giving it their best or giving what they think is their best. It goes back to that whole.
You have to be pretty aware, consciously aware.
Well, it goes back to that whole thing we're talking about with you know, self-image and all that kind of shit. People, well, this is good enough. Like it's paying the bills. I'll just do this. Like,
Totally.
but if there's something that is within you that is, then you need to do, or like you said, do it on the weekend. Do something like that's doing it your best.
Yeah.
Providing for your family and then also providing for yourself. Because man, you only have one go around on this fucking rock.
Absolutely.
That's the thing like living without regret.
Yeah. It's like you got to find happiness. So I think inside of that, it's like, well, what makes you happy? And it could be anything from a life that you have with another individual to playing punk rock in shitty dive bars. But if that's what makes you happy,
or making fucking cookies, like being a sous chef.
Exactly. Like it doesn't matter because that's the thing is like ultimately, who fucking cares?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like who fucking cares? It's like I've heard.
Sweet.
So yeah, Shane, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. It's been awesome.
Just trashing me and shit, but it's like, who fucking cares? Get out from behind the computer, man. You suck.
Right.
You know, like
you do something.
Yeah. Like I was just talking to my mom actually earlier today. I was helping her with something at our family candy store, and I was telling her about how, you know, I've played music fervently for 15 years straight. You know, toured and I've starved and I've had a few little highs here and there, and I've had some pretty low lows. And it's one of those deals where it's like I'm 32 years old and I'm poor, and I hate that. And I hate like not being able to afford better recording gear or all of this stuff. But to me, I'm not that naive 21-year-old anymore that's like, oh, we're gonna be fucking huge and because everybody who starts a band thinks that like
you're gonna be the next whatever.
And so for me, it's like, man, I just love music. I love writing it. I love listening to it. I love investing my emotions into it, whether that be through my writing or through my listening. And but it's fun to me, and it should be fun to people. Why would you want to do something that isn't fun to you? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, it's like I was telling her about how, you know, I'm going to get my resume together and try to go get a 9-to-5 that's a job with good people that I enjoy, but that way I can actually afford things. Like one small price that comes with being a working musician. I've always had a day job. Always. I work 6 days a week right now. And have for a year or two. And it's one of those deals where it's like, I can't even afford a vacation. I can't even afford like a day trip to Dallas and back. That's 3 hours there and back. I can't even afford that.
$200.
$200 maybe. Yeah. I can't even afford it. You know, it's like, I would stab a hobo in the face to be able to go to the mountains again.
Right.
Yeah.
But I draw the line there at the stabbing hobo.
I was going to say, you should get in the stabbing business.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys know a hobo that needs face stabbing?
Okay, so I know you got to go soon, man. But I do want to bring up, I have to bring it up. Like, I want to hear about The Voice, man.
Yeah. Because
we haven't really talked in depth before that. And my first question is, what does Gwen Stefani smell like?
Hollywood.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say BO.
It's okay. When you we can do a tandem.
No, she smells like a woman.
Just like a regular lady.
So younger, older. Did you have like a Gwen Stefani thing, or was that like?
You know, I never really did, but I mean, I always thought she was like pretty hot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one of those like, damn girl, you know? but I love No Doubt. But that was also at a time in my life when music wasn't like I would on borderline. I would listen to anything.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
you'd have like No Doubt. You listen to like Boss Tones, but you'd also listen to like
Yeah. Well,
Bush,
and there's literally, I think there are only a handful of bands from that age. Now, I do listen to more 90s music than I used to.
Me too. I've been finding that a lot lately.
But there's really only one band from that age that I'll still listen to a few times a year and all that.
Creed.
And how did you fucking know?
No, that's 2000s anyways.
I was going to say, Oasis. And obviously Radiohead, but they're just, they don't count.
I actually went back and revisited Oasis because when I was in junior high school and they were around, like, I kind of just put them off, like, it's not punk, I don't like it. And now
They're
I'm
great,
like,
man.
yeah, I've gone back and listened to like, this is actually really
Noel
good
Gallagher
shit.
he's just a brilliant songwriter.
Well, and then I'm listening to it and I'm like, so I watched that Supersonic documentary.
Oh, it's fucking
Which is
awesome.
a brilliant fucking documentary.
So good.
Because I've never seen a documentary done that way, where there's no one actually talking to you, like face to face, but it's all these cool shot scenes. And I was like, fuck, man, their songs are really tight. So I'll go back and listen to it, like, oh, they actually had a reason to have these big egoic heads. They wrote really fucking good songs.
They wrote great songs. Yeah. And it was one of those deals where there's a saying that Noel Gallagher said in an interview once. And I thought, the thing is, it's like, you might think the guy's arrogant as fuck, but he's not lying.
No.
That's the thing about it. Yeah. He's not lying. He's just really sure of himself. And so there's this one interview where he goes, you could tell everybody in the world that you're the best band in the world, and half of them are going to believe you. And he goes, and that's a lot of fucking people. Right. Like, oh my God. But it's so true.
Right.
All these people, without even hearing their music, be like, oh, we're actually the best band in the world. Half those motherfuckers are going to believe it. I was like, that's actually really like philosophical in this weird way.
I always fuck up that thing. What is it? Like, it's 10% what you say, 60% of whatever, and then
perspiration.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Something about
desperation.
Something
is a
about
stinky cologne.
99% desperation and 1% perspiration.
Something like that.
My motto.
Something like that.
So, okay, you know, we've alluded to this throughout the night. I tried to bring it up a second ago. Like you're talking about how did your life change? First of all, you're verified on Twitter, which is interesting to me.
I got verified on
Twitter. Was that through the show?
No. The only people through the show that got verified on Twitter were either people who already were prior to the show or the people that made it like into like the top 12. Okay. Then you got your verification.
Okay. Was that like part of the deal?
In a way, like the Universal just pulls strings and makes shit happen.
Right.
I got verified on Twitter because after the show, there was a dipshit down in Texas who was faking me. So they had set up a Twitter account under like with my name and took all the pictures on my Twitter, like the top photo and all that stuff. They set it up to where it was like identical to mine, except they were retweeting all this fucking right-wing bullshit. And I was like, whoa. In my head, I was like, you know what? Most of the time I'd be flattered, but fuck this guy. He's a Trump supporter. Yeah. So I fucking reported his ass, and then they gave me, I woke up like 2 days later and had a blue check. I was like, cool. I know people that don't have blue checks and they have like, 9 times the followers I do.
So just quickly, I'm just curious, like what was the process like? If you want to just take us through it real quick.
I got an email from them in November of 2014. And it was like, hey, we found your video on YouTube. We're doing these auditions in Oklahoma City. We're with The Voice, blah, blah, blah. Would you be interested in doing this? My first thing I did was I Googled the casting company to find out if they were legit, which they are. So it's McNulty Casting they do casting for like a shit ton of these reality shows. So I Google them, they're legit. I responded to the guy, I said, hey, yeah, I'm definitely interested, but I don't feel like standing in line at my local mall for hours on end because I do have a music career here in town that I need to worry about. And to me, it was like it was a lot of it of self-doubt where it was like, because I don't think of myself as a singer. I just think of singing as a byproduct of writing a song to me. So somebody's got to fucking do it, you know? And so he said, no, these are private auditions. You know, we set the time for you, whatever you want. I said, okay, cool. So it was so that was in November. So then the audition comes around in February and it was like crazy snowing outside on a Saturday. And I had a friend getting married that day that I had to play his wedding. So I played the wedding, turned around, met a few friends for like some drinks. I ended up having like 3 Jameson on the rocks. Then I go to this audition.
A little buzzed.
Yeah, I'm a little buzzed. I was feeling good.
Yeah.
You know?
Confident.
Yeah.
Confident.
Got that Gallagher complex.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who had auditioned earlier in the day and he said that like he played one song and they just look up and say, thank you. And that was it.
Mhm.
Like it's like welcome to fucking Hollywood, you know?
Mhm.
They have a job to do and they don't give a shit. So he was like, yeah, I played one song and that was it. And they said, thanks. And I was like, man, fuck, that sucks. And so he was like, yeah, they basically, he said like the majority of the people in front of him in line and the majority of the people behind him in line that he saw were just turn him and burn him, you know, like a restaurant at lunch. And so I was like, well, fuck it. I was going to not play this song, but if that's the case, I'm doing it. So I did Jeff Buckley's version of Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit and just went all out. And that was my first song that I played. And these like casting people, they sit here were just kind of, it was like the cartoon. You could hear them blinking, like blink, blink, you know? And they were like,
well, you didn't pick like a standard, you know what I mean?
And that's a, you know, that song to me is really important because of what Billie Holiday was saying. And at a time for an African-American woman to really come out and just be like, fuck you, white guys, you fucking racist pieces of shit, you know? And like, that's punk rock to me, you know? So I enjoy doing that song because that song is important and it stands for something. And then after that, the one was like, okay, so do you have another song prepared for us? And then she looks down, she goes, I see here that you can play Look at Miss Ohio. Oh my God, I love that song. Well, hold on. Go ahead and play this next song you were going to play. And then we play Look at Miss Ohio for me. I said, sure.
That had to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not even holding my guitar anymore. It's just staying on my boner. You know? No, so I played I played Give Me Something Good, Ryan Adams. And then I played Gillian Welch, Look at Miss Ohio. And then I go and I sit in this like 45-minute to an hour-long interview where they're just asking you these kind of pressing questions and they're trying to pull out emotions and blah, blah, blah of your background. So I said, okay. So that was my first audition. That was at February of 2015. I got a phone call at a Thunder game a few weeks later. It was like, and it was one of those deals too, where it was like, if you haven't heard back from us in, I think it's something like 14 days, 11 to 14 days, then that means you didn't make it. And so I'm at this Thunder game with the girl I was dating at the time. And I was like on Instagram trying to take a picture of the game. And so I take this picture and then I like lock my phone. Right as I go to like lock my screen, a phone comes in from California and I lock it and decline the phone call. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I go running outside and I call the number back like a million times. And then she finally answers. We get on the horn and they're like, hey, you've been chosen for executive auditions. So then I go out and get blasted drunk that night. No, I'm just kidding. So in March, they flew me to Burbank to do executive auditions.
Beautiful town.
Right.
Now, are these the ones that are on TV?
No.
Okay.
So this is the audition before blind auditions, the last step before you get to blind auditions.
Wow. Okay. So I thought the blind auditions were people show up, stay in line.
No. There were.
The curtain has been drawn. See,
this is a thing too.
I don't even know what blind auditions are.
I kind of was like, well, I'll explain this afterwards. So I get flown to Burbank. There's about 300 to 500 people in this hotel that are there for executive auditions from all over the country. Some from all over the world. I wake up, I get my audition day. So you have to do like a 500 question psych evaluation. And then you have to go meet with a psychologist after that. Because they need to make sure your shit is like mentally stable.
Yeah.
Extreme vetting.
Yeah. So
totally.
You do that and all the stuff. And like, I was actually like, even the average person, my peak was on stress. And it was in the average mark. Everything else was like below the average human. He was like, well, maybe you should the doctor literally said, just try to fucking relax, man. And I was like, is that your professional opinion? Like, what the shit?
Wait, are you a real doctor?
Can you write me a prescription for fucking relax, please?
Are you on a reality show right now?
Right.
Signed Dr. Feelgood.
Right, exactly.
Just fucking chill, man.
And then I get chosen for my executive audition was at like 9 in the morning. So I wake up, some people were waking up at like 4 in the morning and doing vocal warm-ups. And I'm sitting there like, you guys are fucking idiots. Like, you can do a vocal warm-up and then sit around for 5 hours. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference. So I wake up, I drink some coffee, I smoke some cigarettes, and then go to this blind audition. And so on this list of songs that you could cover in it, Strange Fruit's on it. And I'm like, fuck yes, I'm doing Strange Fruit again, because that brought the house down at my first audition. 5 minutes into it. or 5 minutes before I go back, the director, the owner of the casting company is like, hey, can you use something other than Strange Fruit? And I'm sitting there thinking, well, that's the only song that I prepared. You guys told me to practice our songs. I picked it. And she goes, yeah, it's really dark for this early in the morning. It's just really heavy. And I'm sitting there thinking like, fuck you. What the fucking curveball pitching son of a bitch? What the fuck? So I was like, okay, well, and she goes, what about that like Ohio song you did? I was like, okay. So she's like, you've got time to run it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'd only played Look at Miss Ohio that one time at the first audition. Prior to that, I hadn't played it in 6 months. So I'm like, I got to run this song and make sure I don't fuck it up. So I'm running that song, and then they assign you a cover song. So I'm running Look at Miss Ohio. I get about 2 lines into the second verse. And it's like, okay, Chase, so-and-so and so-and-so, we're ready for you. And I was like, shit. So I go in there, and I just had to fucking wing it. And then like the next day I get sat in a room with all these other people and they're like, you all have been chosen. So far you've been chosen from blind auditions. I still had to clean up all my social media and all this other shit. But
so there's a process here.
Yeah. So
you got to clean up.
You have to clean it up because it's such a family oriented show. And, you know, for a lot of people, they don't know that I'm such an avid Thunder fan. And I used to go to bars and just watch these games and I'd just get toe up from the flow up. And on my Twitter, there would just be things that are just all caps, like just fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? If the Thunder was losing. Yeah. So if you didn't know that I was watching a Thunder game at the time, you'd be like, this dude is a fucking idiot. Yeah. But it would be because of the Thunder.
Right.
So he's got Tourette's, one of the two.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or he's losing his mind. But it was one of those deals too where they're like, you'll get one warning phone call. And then after that, if you get another call, then you're off the show. I definitely got the warning phone call. And I spent hours cleaning up my social media, going years back. So I cleaned it up. Then I go out for the blind audition and did all of that. And you film. And I was out there for like all of June and then half of July and half of August. All of that is filming. And then blind auditions were at the beginning of July. And then battle rounds and all that shit was all after that. So you go and you film and you do all this stuff and it's cool and you make friends and everything. And then America, 14 million people watch you each week. And you go from being human to being not like that. And so, when I came back from Oklahoma City, when it aired and then rumor finally got out and then I was doing news interviews and all that shit here and I'm back and everybody's my friend. Everybody's just,
you got that voice money,
dude,
right?
No, I wish. But it was like, everybody was my friend. All these people who I knew had once talked shit on me. Like, Chase, what's up, man? It's so good to see you. Da-da. And they're all trying to sit next to me at the bar. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, you've been an asshole to me my entire life, and now you want to be friends? Fuck you, of course. And I don't have it in me to just be like that to people, so I'm nice and all this stuff. But it was like that, like, really fucked with me. I'm like still dealing with it. The majority of my friends that were on that show all had to go to counseling afterwards. Because the other thing too is it's like at the battle round, which I lost the battle round, and I didn't get stolen to a team, but America sees you as like, oh, well, they weren't good enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, unless you get the trophy at the end, you're not good enough.
Plays all the way back to what we were talking about at the beginning.
Yeah. It's like,
you did your best.
Exactly. And what people don't realize, and the executive producer came and told us there were 96 people that made it to blind auditions. 96. Guess how many people auditioned for that season?
How many?
40,000.
Jeez.
Damn.
96 people, 48 people make it onto a team out of 40,000 people who auditioned.
That is insane.
And I fucking did it.
Yeah, that's staggering.
So in my head, I was like, fucking winning, bro. Like, I'm doing great. You know what I mean? Yeah. And to me, as somebody who is an artist, not an entertainer, in my head, I was like, hell yeah, strike one up for the good guys.
And not just like a singer, like, usually have like a guitar.
Yeah, and that was the first time I had ever sang like with just a mic, and I got a boring Coldplay song, which I love. Coldplay,
that was weird. That was like
it was weird.
No, it was weird to see you do that. It's like, I've never seen him do that.
Well, and it's not like it's a song that you can like. What are you gonna do? Dance around to The Scientist? Yeah. No. Even the music video is fucking backwards and in slow mo. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't do shit. Yeah. So it was weird, but that's songs get chosen for you. You don't really have much say in it.
You should have called up your friend Boone, been like, dude.
Boone, what do you got?
I need your moves behind me.
Yeah, Come on, how do I do this in slow motion? But it was
borrow those magic boots.
Boone's magic boots.
I need a big ass window.
bag of
that
rice.
has a great reflection, a bag of rice, a bed on stilts.
The key is you got to fall out of a bed.
Yeah.
That's the key.
A terrible smell out of a microwave, and these boots.
So, man, what? Just in closing here, like, what was your big takeaway? I felt like we're already kind of getting to it. But
Honestly, and this is just kind of, and I have to kind of remind myself, as somebody who I have pretty crippling anxiety issues, and they got worse after the show. They happened before the show, but they got much worse after the show. And I wrestle with depression and that sort of thing, just like so many people do. And so I've gotten into this habit of reminding myself these things, and you really have to tell yourself every day. But don't ever worry about fucking impressing people, because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because it's like, it's like I was 48 out of 40,000. That's not even like 0.00, that's like 0.0012%. It's not even a quarter of a single percent. You know what I mean? That's fucking astonishing. And the whole time I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just some fucking dude from Oklahoma with tattoos who likes to drink with his friends and go to shows. Who got
up and drank coffee and smoked cigarettes before his...
That was my vocal warm-up.
Yeah.
And somehow all of a sudden I'm here. I mean, I'm in this thing with all these people who can sing their ass off like Justin Timberlake and shit, and I'm like, okay. And so I get there and I do it, and it's like at the end of it, it's like I said, people see it as not good enough, but they don't know what I know about the 40,000. They don't know that. So then what happens is you feel this insecurity, like you have to prove, no, but I am good enough. See, there are these 40,000 people and I was here. Like you feel this need to do it, to validate yourself.
Yeah.
But fuck them. It doesn't matter. The only opinions that should ever carry any weight to anybody are the opinions of those that they love. Because those opinions come with respect, not somebody trying to sit close to your ass at the bar because you just went on a syndicated television show.
Or try to rack up their likes on social media and shit.
Exactly.
Or someone on TV being like, oh, this is boring. I'm going to go over to Family Guy.
Right.
It's like you said earlier, man, like we're all valid. You are all valid. You don't need someone to tell you that you are. You don't need a social media thing to tell you. You don't need someone.
Exactly.
You don't need someone to vote you on a team to tell you that you're valid.
Well, and so many people think that our biggest accomplishments in life are like, work or money or something to show. It's like, man, our biggest accomplishments in life are the relationships we have with other human beings, because they have so much value inside of them. Mm-hmm. So if you have great relationships with people, you're not going to feel the need to constantly reinvent yourself or image craft yourself on social media.
That's so true, man.
Because you're fucking loved and you know it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it cleans you of these insecurities or this constant need of validation from total strangers who wouldn't know you from anybody else out there,
And total strangers that are trying to do that, they're all on that same fucking wheel.
Same thing. And it's just like, man, you have to be like, you know what? I'm a good fucking person. I have integrity. I have character. I'm kind to strangers. I'm kind to the people that I love. I give myself. I give my best. That's all you can do. And that's what I had to learn. That was my takeaway, because I never put all my eggs in that basket. In fact, I didn't really ever put one in that basket. I could have played it up on camera. I could have been more dramatic and this and that, but that's just not me.
Right.
And I was never willing to steer away from who I really was, which was, in my head, I'm just a dude from Oklahoma that loves music, and I love creativity, and I love experiences. And so to me, ultimately, at the end of it, it was an experience. So
that's awesome, man. I think that's a good way to end it. Yeah, it's great. You know what I was thinking, though, when I was watching you on my DVR? I made a video for that guy. I was like, my claim to fame. Yeah.
In the garage.
Yeah, just right out back here. Yeah. Well, Chase, man, thanks so much for coming on. Hey, let's plug this Norman Music Fest, man.
Yeah. Saturday, April 29th, 5:30 p.m. My band Chase Kerby and the Villains will be playing at Sooner Theater at Norman Music Festival. I'm also at 2:00 that day at one of the art galleries. I'm actually giving a seminar, a music seminar. I got a grant to do it.
Nice.
And so I applied for this thing and they got it, but it's everything you need to know about starting a band and some of the things you don't. And it covers everything from like individual roles within the band to image to practicing to taxes to booking to advancing your shows on tour, so on and so forth. So
Very cool.
That's awesome.
it's I got 45 minutes to cram a shit ton of information into.
Well, cool, man.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks for coming by tonight,
Dude,
man. It's
thanks,
been
Thanks,
awesome.
man. It's good. Bye.
Choo, 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 choo.